some of you sent some questions, sent some questions about the celebration of scholarship. So I'll respond to those probably tonight. Got a lot of stuff going on. So I'll respond to those tonight. We'll figure out how to upload the videos because most of you had questions about uploading the videos. You could just very quickly, you could just record the video, upload it on YouTube, and then just send me the link. And then I can just access that link. That's what I did. That's what I did with Zach. Very easy. So if you have any questions on that, the best way, just send me a text and we'll figure it out. Cause I know I tried to answer the emails yesterday, when I had a chance, but there's a few more that came in late last night. So as we're getting near the end of the journey, we're gonna have one more session today on Lean and Six Sigma. We can't talk about supply chain without talking about Lean and Six Sigma. And then next week we're going to talk about the funnel, which is going to be a combination of, it's going to be a combination of everything you've learned so far, in addition to other things such as Lean and Six Sigma. All right. So again, because we're all remote, I'm not going to be that difficult. I know you're going to be looking up the answers anyway, so it's going to be the same thing. All right. So you're going to have to go through the answers. It's going to be more than 20 questions this time. Probably 21, just kidding. But it's going to be probably about 30, 35 questions. All right. So nothing crazy. Again, with me, it's all about, I want to ensure that you are learning this content. It's more than just a grade. All right. So this week, any questions?
Well, I just have a quick question about the celebration of scholarship thing. So I sent you a video, like for the submission. I just submitted a video and then put in the comments the YouTube link. Is that okay, or should I just email you?
That's fine. What do you mean?
Like for the actual submission of it, I submitted the video and then I submitted the URL for the comment.
Yeah, I just need the link for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, so I put it in the comments in that video. It's like in the sub, and you can add a comment when you submit something. I just put in the comments. Is that cool?
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. That's all I need. Any other questions?
I think I submitted the video, but I forgot to send the YouTube link. So should I do that?
What'd you send though?
I think I submitted just the video, but I think I forgot.
Yeah, the video's fine. The video's fine. I just said submit the link if you had issues uploading the video. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question as well. I mean, for the celebration scholarship, for the submission for the class, we just need the poster, or we need to do the video link as well. I have a video link as well, but okay, for the presentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'll just I guess email you the video link.
All right. Yep. You don't need any special equipment. If it comes down to you recording on your smartphone and uploading it on Google Drive, then do that. All right. Don't go crazy with it. Now that we're done with it, the purpose of me stressing the celebration of scholarship is because you're going to have to be doing things like this within the industry. You're going to have to do presentations in the industry. Like I said, you're not going to have to do research papers in the industry. You're not going to have to take tests in the industry. You're going to have to do presentations. You're going to have to communicate what you have learned from things that you're assigned by your manager in meetings. So I had some pushback from some people to say, oh, can I just take no? You're not going to be taking a test once you get in a business world. You're going to be presenting to leaders of your organization. You're going to be presenting the manager of your organization. So that's why I stressed this particular celebration of scholarship. Yes, it was only for our campus, but a matter of fact, for those I had all of my classes do it. I think out of five awards, the students that were working in my class, they took 3 or 4 of them. I had two students take home two awards. Right? So that not only puts money in their pocket, right? But they went through that process of researching a topic that they were passionate about, that they were interested in, and they found information. As a matter of fact, and you all know I'm big on blockchain, you know, and one of the groups did one on cryptocurrencies and sustainability. So I was like, how is this going to work? Let me listen to this. And they taught me stuff that I didn't know, and I'm in the space, right? So to me, that's impressive. And they won an award. They won a research award, right? So, and two of the other students, I sent their presentations to three organizations already. So that's why I wanted you all to do this assignment. It was not for the sake of doing an assignment. It was for the sake of you building up those skills, building up those competencies that you're going to need in the industry. Because that is one of the biggest gaps that a lot of employers tell me. They say, yes, these undergraduates have the knowledge, but they don't have the communication skills. They don't have the collaboration skills. That's the biggest gap that people tell me time and time again in a number of different industries. So like I said, I'm not doing this just for the sake of giving you an assignment, giving you busy work. I'm trying to have you develop those competencies that hiring managers are telling me you need. This is not for my benefit, it's for your benefit. All right. So I just wanted to just take a couple minutes and just kind of explain, you know, the reasoning of why I had you all go through that. Because I know some of you did not like that too much. Any questions, any comments? All right.
Yeah, I have a quick question, I guess.
Yeah.
We're at the Wilkes-Barre campus and we already submitted the link for the contest. Do you want us to submit it? Did you want it submitted with the assignment?
Yeah, just put a comment. So send an assignment and just send a link. Just send a link to the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen yours too. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so just send a link to the recording. Was that other student from the Wilkes-Barre campus? Did you work with?
Yeah.
Okay. What class was he in?
Derek, I think he's in this one.
Let me see here. Oh. He's just not here today. Why are you calling him out? See, that's what you get. All right, so has anyone heard of Lean? Has anyone heard of Six Sigma? Let me see here, share my screen.
I heard of Six Sigma.
What is it? What's your definition of it? What do you think it is?
I mean, like the overview is that they're a technology company, pretty much, that I know, and they do a lot of like I want to say like a lot of supply chain, like type of blockchain programs and things like that, just for like huge companies for data transfer and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of organizations that have the term Lean and have the term Six Sigma within the company name itself. Now the concept of Six Sigma, the concept of Lean, is a philosophy. Okay. And the objective, we're going to start with Lean. And the objective of Lean is ultimately to reduce waste. Okay. Lean began within Toyota in Japan, and you will see things referred to as a Toyota production system. And also within the building blocks of Lean, you have total quality management. So total quality management is the thinking, the approach, the mindset that quality is not just a responsibility of the quality department within a company. it's the responsibility of every department within the organization. Okay, not only within the organization, but outside of the organization as well. So if I work with my suppliers to practice total quality management, now I'm able to reduce waste throughout my entire supply chain. Now, also another concept of lean is the respect for people. So you want to treat your people well. You want to ensure that you are providing the people with all the tools that they need to be successful. So those are the building blocks of lean. And we talked about briefly about lean production, the Toyota production system within Toyota in Japan. And what Toyota found was that whenever they were producing cars, they were seeing a lot of waste from an inventory perspective. They were seeing a lot of waste from a movement perspective, and they actually identified 7 primary wastes, which we're going to get to shortly in this presentation. But also they developed a system known as a just-in-time system. And with a just-in-time system, you'll also see it referred to as a two-bin system, TWO bin system. And the way I explain it because I do a lot of work on lean within healthcare. And the way I explain it to nurses and healthcare practitioners is that, let's say that I have 2 cases of flu vaccine. Okay. Flu season's coming. I have 2 cases of flu vaccine. Once I use up that first case, that is my signal or my trigger that I need to order another case. As that second case runs out, that third case, that replenishment case, shows up just in time, just when I need it, right? And that is a continuous process. So for example, once that second case runs out, that's my trigger to order that 4th case. Once that 3rd case runs out, that's my trigger to order that 5th case, and so on. So now I am able to reduce my inventory levels because I'm only using what I need. Okay. Now, with a traditional approach in some environments, we have something that we call push planning. We're also going to talk about that shortly. So in a traditional sense, and some of you are probably familiar with this, I will look at my previous demand history and I will forecast. I'll look in my crystal ball and I will guess how many cases of flu vaccines I need. So for example, I'll look at the last year's flu season, the 2020 flu season, right? Well, that's probably a terrible example because we had flu and we had COVID. So let's just work with me here. So we look at how many cases of flu vaccine we used in 2020. So let's just say that I used 10 cases. And the analysts are saying, the research, I should say, are saying that I'm stuck in crypto. The researchers are saying that we're going to have a mild flu season similar to the 2020 flu season. So I say, okay, I'm going to also add a buffer in, and I'm going to purchase 11 cases. Okay. Now, let's say that we had a very mild season and we only used 2 cases of flu vaccines in the flu season of 2021. Now, because I purchased all of that inventory beforehand and I didn't use it, now I have to write off that inventory or throw it away with a traditional forecasting push model. So that is why people introduce or implement this lean production methodology. Now, because a number of organizations actually have this process, and because of the pandemic, and 2, because of the Suez Canal issue that came up earlier this year, or a couple of weeks ago, a lot of companies got wiped out. because they could not use a just-in-time model in some cases because people didn't have inventory, right? So because of that, now some of the analysts are saying that, are asking the question, are organizations too lean? Okay. So I always have the argument that you cannot plan for pandemic inventory. Yes, you can plan for uncertainties like the Suez Canal. That's where you have safety stock. But all in all, you cannot plan for what people refer to as a black swan event. One thing that's going to happen in our careers. Right? Now, some people did challenge this lean philosophy during the pandemic, but I always say that, this lean production model is going to be here to stay because it saves some companies millions of dollars. Right? So lean production is, again, essentially the effort to reduce waste throughout the supply chain. And again, so you have this two-bin system. You also have what we refer to as Kanban, Kanban, and Kanban is just Japanese for signal. So lean is all based on signals. I'm relying on signals to tell me when it's time to perform an activity. A lot of organizations will use Kanban cards. You can also see bins up here. So that's why I refer to as that two-bin system. You'll also see in facilities where you'll have lights. So you'll have people who are going to be replenishing. So if I have a Tesla factory, for example, and Tesla uses lean, so I could be in my Tesla factory and I could see these lights blinking. And then I know that particular line needs to be replenished. So as that thing is blinking, there's a trigger to say, okay, I'm going to start blinking once I hit 10 windshields, for example, right? So now that I have my windshield, now that particular line is blinking, now that person is going to go to the inventory, pull those windshields, and take it to the line. Okay. Now, if those windshields are on a pallet, right? Now, once that pallet goes down to 3, for example, and let's say that because in some so Tesla probably is sophisticated, where Tesla would probably have a signal based on weight of windshields, right? So once that particular location falls below, let's just say 500 pounds, now they'll have a signal to start blinking to say, okay, now it's time to replenish my overall windshield inventory, right? So now they can use a Kanban card. Tesla may have an electronic Kanban system that automates this lean process, right? So you don't need any kind of level of sophistication to implement lean. Again, lean goes back to the 80s, where they were using nothing but Kanban cards and they were looking at signals, and then that's how they were purchasing their inventory, and they were reducing inventory. I've worked with organizations that, again, saved millions of dollars just by using this simple philosophy, this simple tool. Okay. So again, it's based on visual signals. Any questions on Kanban or two-bin system? Another thing within lean is known as total quality management. Again, it's the responsibility of all departments within the organization. Now, one of my favorite tools within total quality management is the voice of the customer. Okay. The voice of the customer is one thing a lot of people don't use, but it's the most valuable tool because in most cases, it's free. Because of social media, because of IG, because of Facebook, because of YouTube, because of LinkedIn, I can get the feedback of the customer for my products or services. Doesn't cost me a dime. Right now, a lot of people don't do this because they're too proud. They're proud of their product. They think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But all they have to do is ask. All they have to do is ask. And now you can incentivize. You can incentivize through means of discounts. Again, doesn't cost you anything. You give a 10% discount. People give feedback. People give feedback. Now you can actually build that into your product or service, right? So again, the voice of the customer falls into this whole total quality management aspect. You know, one thing perfect example. So Elon is he frequents social media. He frequents Twitter, right? So one Tesla owner actually said that, you know, the indicators in the Tesla are very loud, and it wakes up his son often, right? He posted on Twitter. Elon sees it. So Elon puts in a feature in the Tesla called the Joe feature or something like that. It's called Joe something because the guy who posted it was named Joe. So Elon got feedback from Joe, and he added that feature to the car. Right now, the Joe feature is there forever. And once I seen that, I went in my Tesla and I checked it, and I was like, "Yeah, Joe feature is there." Right. So the amazing thing with a Tesla is that regardless of what year you have, all the features are there because they push the features and functions of a Tesla. So any new feature that gets rolled out in the 2022 Teslas, all the Teslas before that still get that feature because it's pushed through the Internet of Things. Right? That's absolutely amazing in my opinion. But again, my whole point was that, you know, Tesla was listening to the voice of the customer. They added that feature, and the person who said it is now in every single Tesla. Joe's in every single Tesla, right? As a feature. He's a celebrity. So the voice of the customer is very important. And that's one thing that I highly recommend that all customers I work with implement. The respect for people within anything, even outside of lean, is very important. You always want to get the feedback of the people. I always say that you want to get the feedback of the people because they're the ones on the front lines. They're the ones that are working with you on a day-to-day basis, right? They're the ones that's producing the products. They're the ones that's delivering those services. And another thing is you also want to ensure that your people are cross-trained. You want to ensure that they're able to perform different functions, right? I know that you have heard people, maybe your parents, say that, "Oh yeah, I'm the only person at that job at my company that can do that job." They say, "Oh, it's job security." To me, that's not a good thing, right? You need to have multiple people that can perform multiple duties within an organization. That way you are able to bring in people and take out people for things like projects. So things like supply chain projects, things like technology projects. You know, now the leader of the head of that department can focus their efforts on bringing value to the organization because you have cross-trained other people to do his or her job. So that's a very important thing. Another important point within the respect for people is to build quality circles. So quality circles are essentially where I'm going to build a team that focuses on quality for the organization from different departments. Now, I say from different departments, from different disciplines, because if I were to take that term literally, and I were to create a quality circle of people from the quality department, in most cases they're going to be engineers, I'm not going to get things done, because that personnel is going to overanalyze the situation. They're going to overanalyze the actual project at hand. That's just the way their mind thinks. They're engineers, right? So, not knocking engineers if anyone's an engineer, but they have a different mindset, right? But you need that mindset within an organization. So I'm going to create a quality circle of someone from engineering, someone from finance, so we can ensure the feasibility from a budgetary perspective. I'm going to need someone from manufacturing to ensure the manufacturability of this project or idea. And I'm going to need a project manager or someone with a project management mindset to ensure that we are working toward a deadline. So you need people from different backgrounds, people from different disciplines to ensure that this is successfully completed. Okay. So as we said, the foundation of lean is to eliminate waste. We want to remove all non-value added activities. Non-value added activities is something that does not bring value to the customer. Now, Jack Welch, the late great Jack Welch, was one person that implemented this within GE, General Electric. Jack Welch has been known as the CEO of the century by a number of people. And he's also known as Neutron Jack, in that if he did not see a process or a role, i.e. a person, that did not bring value to General Electric, they were eliminated. So within his career, throughout his leadership, I think that they say that Jack Welch eliminated 100,000 jobs from GE. And with that, you know, with that, GE was one of the most powerful people, one of the most powerful organizations in the world. You know, so although you know, some people will feel that, you know, that is a a terrible approach, you know, it caused GE to be one of the most successful organizations in the world while Jack was there. Now, I actually worked at the Jack Welch Management Institute. I actually met Jack Welch, and whenever Jack was alive, and whenever I was at the Jack Welch Management Institute, you know, we were under 100 faculty members, right? So Jack would be on, you know, bi-monthly calls, and he would preach the fact that, you know, during that time, whenever he was known as Neutron Jack, you know, he had that transactional leadership style, right? He was only focused on profitability. He was only focused on the elimination of waste, right? But now that he has grown older and wiser, you know, yes, he still believes in that lean philosophy, but he stresses the fact of the respect for people. And he also stresses the fact that you need, as leaders, you need to love people on the way out the same way you love them on the way in. So whenever you say the respect for people, as you grow within your organizations, as you become managers, remember that. Love them the same way on the way out as you did on the way in. Okay. Now, whenever you take whenever you look at a lean philosophy, you want to look at it from a broad view. And we say we want to look at it from a broad view, in that we want to look at it from an organizational perspective. How are we going to reduce waste from an overall organization? As an overall organization, I should say. Okay. You also want to, so going back to GE, going back to Unilever, these organizations have many business units, dozens of business units. So whenever you have a lean philosophy at a GE or at a Unilever, how can we create a lean philosophy for all of our portfolio, for all organizations? We have organizations based in the electronics industry, based in the food and beverage industry, based in the healthcare industry. How can we create a lean philosophy to include everyone? That's what you have to think about. And because you may sometimes have organizations in different locations, different plants across the U.S., people from different cultures, you want to simplify the process. You want to simplify the process so that it is easily transferable from location to location. Now, once you have simplified the process, once you have implemented the process, you want to practice continuous improvement. Yes, we have implemented this process, but how do we make it better? Jack Welch used to always say, we need to find a better way every day. Yes, we're good, but we can be better. How can we be better? Right? And that's also applicable to your personal life as well, right? Yes, I'm doing good right now, but how could I be better? Right? So you always want to practice continuous improvement. That's one thing a lot of organizations don't do. Like once they implement a process, it was a grueling process. It was a long process. So now they just set it and forget it. Right? So I'm working with one organization now in Rome, New York, where they did a Six Sigma project. They did a Lean Six Sigma project in 2017, right? It sounds recent, but not really. That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago, right? And I said, when's the last time you monitored that? When's the last time you looked at that lean process that you're so proud of? Oh, 2018. I said, it's time for a continuous review of that, right? So you review it. If it's still good, okay, set a touch point to continuously monitor that. You also say, if it's working, how can you make it better? If it's working, a small incremental change could save you tens of thousands of dollars per site. Right? So those are the things that you want to look at in terms of continuous improvement. You also want to make these processes visible. You want to increase the transparency. You want to increase the visibility of these projects, of these processes. Okay. Now, and then finally, you want to ensure that these processes are flexible. You want to practice flexibility. You want to be able to pivot. You want to be able to make adjustments when needed, when and if needed. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. So whenever we talk about how is lean applicable to supply chain operations, we talked briefly about this push system. So this push system is where I'm forecasting future requirements based on previous demand history. So again, I'm looking into my crystal ball and I'm forecasting how much inventory I need. Okay. Now, we talked about the pull system, this lean Kanban pull system. But I want to say that, yes, we talk a lot about lean right now, but there's no one size fits all approach. Think about it. All right, let me ask you this question. Where would a push system be more applicable than a pull system? I normally have one person to be able to call this out.
I mean, I would say a lot of food industries, like not restaurants, but like fast chain type of deal.
Like fast food?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one. That's a real good one. That's a real good one. So the one I'm thinking about is Walmart and Black Friday, right? Walmart has one day to forecast and get it right, right? Walmart cannot have this two-bin system that I described on Black Friday, where once I fall below 10 televisions on Black Friday, I call Samsung and give me a replenishment. No, doesn't work that way, right? So there's a place and time for each one of these approaches. One interesting one that I've seen, because I go to a lot of Orioles games whenever the Yankees are in town, and one thing that I've seen that the Ravens and the Orioles do is that they'll have Anheuser-Busch trucks. I think I mentioned this example. They'll have Anheuser-Busch trucks in the parking lot. So they'll actually do a two-bin system for beer at games. So once they need more kegs, once they need more bottles of beer, they'll go to the truck. The truck they send walkie-talkies to the truck, and then those trucks will go out and they'll bring in kegs, and they'll bring in the bottles of beer to the games. All right. And as one truck empties, they'll call a distribution center. They'll send another truck out to get lined up, and then that empty truck goes back to the distribution center. Right. Now with beer, if they don't use all of that beer, they just drive it back to the distribution center and put it back in stock. Right. So that particular process works very well, and that is a very interesting one where they were kind of innovative in how they use this lean pool system. So I know I mentioned the seven wastes when we're talking about the Toyota production system. And those 7 wastes are excessive processes. So if I have a process being a step to produce a product, if I have a process that is not value added, I eliminate it. Right? That's excessive processing. So for example, if Tesla seen an excessive process in producing a car, or even producing this key fob here, they eliminate it. Right? So you also want to practice excessive inventory. If you have additional inventory, raw materials that are sitting, and this is done a lot within as previously mentioned in the food and beverage industry. If you have excess inventory in food and beverage, that food expires, so you throw it away, you write it off, you lose money, right? So you want to reduce as much inventory as you possibly can. Okay. You also want to reduce transportation. So within the industry, if you have what we refer to as, I think we mentioned this last week, if you have empty miles, so if I drop off goods, I always want to find a way to come back to my distribution center with other inventory, right? Or I'm deadheading back. I'm pretty much wasting gas because another truck's going to go out to pick up product that I just passed coming back from a customer, right? So if I'm coming from Pennsylvania and I'm going to Florida to drop off a shipment, for example, of anything, right? When I'm coming back from Florida, I'm making stops all the way up to bring back materials that I need for my distribution center or my manufacturing facility. So I'm stopping in Georgia, picking up raw materials. I'm stopping in North Carolina, picking up raw materials. I'm stopping in Virginia, picking up materials. I'm stopping in Maryland, picking up materials. Then by the time I get back to Pennsylvania, my truck is full, right? So instead of me paying additional shipping cost for someone else to bring that product to me, I am being more efficient and more cost effective By doing pickups on the way back, I'm coming back anyway, right? So that's the elimination of waste from a transportation perspective. From elimination of waste from a motion perspective, if I am, and you'll see a spaghetti diagram shortly. If I am performing a number of steps within a process, yes, I may be getting my exercise in, but instead of taking those additional steps, I could be producing more product, which leads to increased profitability. So I want to make sure every single step is an effective one. I want to make sure that every single step is a value added one. Okay. I want to reduce the number of defects. I want to ensure that I am always producing a quality product and I am not creating defective products that I am writing off or reworking. And then I want to reduce waiting time. So once one step is done, so once my seats are in a vehicle, once my seats are in a car, they are not waiting to install the dashboard. You're not waiting a day to install a dashboard, right? It's going to go once the seats are done, install dashboard, install a chassis, install this, install that, right? So I reduce my wait time. Wait time is wasted money, right? And you also want to reduce overproduction. You want to produce only what is needed. Okay, so those are the 7 ways of lean. So again, we talked about those wastes. Now we have seen the introduction of technology into making this lean process even more efficient. We have automated this lean process. We have used tools to provide us alerts using this lean process. We have also seen where knowledge sharing is very important, especially now. It's going to be even more important for you all in that those people that have been in the industry, they're reaching retirement age. And back in the day, many people went from high school and went to factories. So I'm speaking for supply chain primarily. So they went in a factory. So they've been at that factory for 35, 40 years, right? So they have all the knowledge of that operation. So because they have the knowledge of the operation, now they need to share that knowledge with other people that are going to replace them once they retire. So that's why knowledge sharing is very important. Those people that have been in the industry are the experts. They know more than the executive of the organization. They've been there. They've been doing the processes every single day, day in and day out. So that's where knowledge sharing falls into this concept of lean. So when we look at it from an operational perspective, operational or tactical processes are also known as the day-to-day processes of an organization. You have to consider the human skills within this process. You will need to consider the technical skills of those people, those capabilities of the individuals. And you also want to adopt what we refer to as integrated decision making. Integrated decision making is where we're going to bring in the materials, the designs, the technologies to make these processes more efficient. Now people will use the terms Lean Six Sigma. I use the term Lean Six Sigma, but Lean and Six Sigma are 2 different philosophies. Okay, they're used together because they're blended. Okay, so the objective of Lean is to reduce waste. The objective of Six Sigma is to reduce variation in the process. So Six Sigma is also more of a statistical approach. It uses a lot of statistics to identify issues and to resolve issues. Okay. So within Six Sigma, you will use statistical processes to identify root causes of a problem. You will use Six Sigma to identify whether or not you are in control or out of control of a process. Okay. So for example, Six Sigma is going to be used. You'll see things such as upper control limits and lower control limits. And if I am tracking the tolerance of a screw, for example, right? So every time I take a sample of screws, if I'm producing screws, I'm going to be putting plots on a graph, right? And then I have these tolerances of a upper control limit and a lower control limit. And I'm plotting every time a screw is sampled, right? And these tolerances are based on my customer requirements, right? And they're within like 1,000th of like a centimeter or an inch based on what type of product you're making, right? Sometimes 10,000ths in this tolerance. So you're going to be plotting using Six Sigma tools. But anytime it falls outside of that control limit, that individual gets alerted, right? And if you have a number of items falling outside of that control limit, now you have to find the root cause of that issue. And that's where Six Sigma comes in. Okay. So you can see that the quantitative, that's the numbers, that's the statistics, right? But then you have the involvement of people to figure out why am I continuing to fall outside of this control limit, right? So one of my favorite approaches that I use in a number of projects is the Six Sigma DMAIC approach. DMAIC stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. And one of the examples that I use often, again in healthcare, is I want to track the process in an emergency room, right? And I've probably used this example in this class as well. But if I'm starting to receive complaints about long wait times in an emergency room, right? I'm going to use the DMAIC approach to identify the root cause of that issue. Okay. So I'm first going to map out the steps in the process. I'm going to say, okay, the patient checks in, they get triage, which means they get their weight, blood pressure, things like that. They go to the waiting room again. They then get called back to the back, and they wait for an hour and a half for the doctor to come in. The doctor will then diagnose the patient, and then that patient would either leave the hospital, get discharged from the hospital, they would get hospitalized. Now, that's the define. So I say that, okay, I'm defining that the problem is that they're waiting an hour and a half for the doctor. Okay. So now I'm going to measure that wait time for the doctor. So I'm going to take 10 samples of 10 patients to see how long each patient of those 10 waited. Okay. So now that I'm measuring that, now I've collected that data. Now the analyze is where I do that data analysis. So I'm analyzing all these wait times. And I see that, okay, yeah, they're waiting an hour, 25 minutes. Oof, that's bad, right? So then now that I've confirmed the issue, I then want to find ways to improve that process. So now I'm working with doctors. Now I'm working with nurses. Now I'm actually interviewing customers. And I have a number of proposed solutions. So I could say that I could say that, oh, I can bring in more doctors. Oh, I could have nurses to kind of alleviate or help the doctors, assist the doctors in diagnosing the patient. Not sure, that's kind of illegal. But anyway, so let's just say that we're going to bring in more doctors to the emergency room. Okay. So now we have improved the process. So once we have brought in more doctors, we are now going to control the process. And in order to control the process, we have to monitor the process. So now that we have more doctors, now we evaluate how long the patients are waiting. And now we see that the patients are now only waiting 50 minutes. But the work's not done. If we go back, we practice continuous improvement. So now we said, yeah, we got down to 50. Now let's get down to 40. Now let's get down to 35. Now let's get down to 30. And you practice continuous improvement to continue to improve this process. So that's the DMAIC approach, and that's one approach that I use often for a number of different industries. So another lean tool that we use is called Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term for continuous improvement. Kaizen is used a lot within the manufacturing industry. It could be used within any industry. It could be used in your daily life, right? Now, Kaizen is where you would, and this is like more for products. So I'm going to sort my products. I'm going to sort my items. I'm going to set these items in order. I'm going to shine or clean those items. I'm going to standardize those items, and I'm going to sustain that process. Now, in one place where this would be very applicable. So in a lot of organizations, you will see, like, you can walk through a manufacturing facility and you'll see these boards, these huge boards that have outlines of tools, right? That's the 5S approach. Okay. So now I have so whenever we go through this process, we put up a tool board, a 5S board. We outline the wrench, we outline the screwdriver, we outline, whatever other tools we need, right? So once that tool is taken off, we know exactly what's missing. So that means it's somewhere around here in this department, right? So we have sorted it, we have set it in order because we put it on the board in order, right? And every single department in the factory has the same exact order. So you know exactly where to look, where you can say, okay, where's the screwdriver, right? So that's where that standardized is. Now with the shine, that means I keep this clean. At any given time, every single tool should be. So once a shift has ended, I should be able to go to every single department and every single tool should be on that board. That's the lean approach, right? So then you want to sustain that so that I could have someone assigned to go through every single department to ensure that every single tool is in place. Now you say, okay, what's the point of that? Tesla. Tesla has what we refer to as gigafactories. So gigafactories are these massive factories. So the gigafactory in Nevada is going to be the largest factory in the world by footprint. Now, if you have the largest factory in the world, that means you have a lot of tools. So if Tesla were to use this 5S approach, if Tesla did not, let's back up. If Tesla did not use this 5S approach, and you're missing a screwdriver in the Tesla factory, I'm not going to go across this massive factory and look for a screwdriver. I'm going to order another one. So now if you have thousands of people ordering screwdrivers because they can't find them, think about how much Tesla would spend every year just on screwdrivers. Now amplify that by the Tesla factory in Texas, the Tesla factory in China, the Tesla factory in Germany. They're spending a lot of money on screwdrivers for no reason. If they implemented this 5S approach, that reduces the cost in screwdrivers. Now, amplify that by the dozens, if not hundreds, of tools that they have and use on a daily basis. That's where this simple approach is going to save a lot of money, right? So another tool that I use often is referred to as value stream mapping. And that's where kind of circling back to what we were talking about within an emergency room. So within an emergency room, when I said I was going to map out all those steps, so checking in to a receptionist, getting triage, sitting in the waiting room, going to the back waiting for the doctor checks you, you get dispatched or you get hospitalized. Every single one of those steps are going to be outlined within this value stream map. And on all those steps, I will map out how long it takes to produce that step, to create that step, right? And then I'm in the middle of the two steps, I also outline how long the wait time is, right? So once I lay out all of those steps, all of those processes, then I can quickly identify what my bottlenecks are. Not only can I identify my bottlenecks, I can also identify which processes are complete and accurate. And if I do the number of processes, the percentage of processes that are complete and accurate, now I can say, oof, I'm only 40% accurate on that. Ooh, that's something we have to look at, right? So this visual tells you really quick like that where the problems are in your organization. And another important part is that this value stream map is only done for a particular work stream or a particular department, right? You're not going to do a value stream map of your entire organization. So essentially, whenever I do this, I have a value stream map for purchasing. I have a value stream map for sales. I have a value stream map for new product creation. I have a value stream map for approving contracts. I have a value stream map for employee onboarding. And once we do that, we identify the current state. We identify any bottlenecks or areas of improvement. Once we eliminate that waste, then we create a future state map. And that's the actual process we're working toward. So that's why the value stream maps are very important. Now, this looks like an absolute mess, but it's very beneficial. This is a spaghetti diagram where when I was looking at the seven wastes and I identified movement as one of those wastes, I can take one shift at a hospital and I can map out the steps of each nurse, right? And you can see that, okay, this nurse in the blue, this nursing tech in the blue, she looks like he or she is taking a lot of unneeded steps, unnecessary steps. Because look at the steps in blue versus the steps in red. Nurse in red, she's efficient. He or she is efficient. He or she's getting work done, right? So now it's easy for me to tell like that if there's room for improvement, right? So if I use this, then I'm going to say, okay, Mr. Blue, I want you to shadow, Mr. and Mrs. Blue, I want you to shadow this registered nurse in red and look at what they do on a daily or nightly basis, because they're efficient, right? So now if they do that and they pick up things that the registered nurse in blue has found to be more efficient, now everyone in my department is more efficient. And that's where the spaghetti diagram is very beneficial. So when we implement these simple, and I also want to say the most important piece to this is that these processes don't really cost too much money. They only cost the time, the resources, and time. They don't really cost money. And that's where I get buy-in from organizations. It's going to save you a lot of money, but doesn't really cost that much money. Oh, sign me up. This sounds amazing. Right? So that's where these processes are very beneficial. That's where these processes are very important. And in providing this visibility and providing this standardization, you're able to communicate with your suppliers more effectively and efficiently. You're able to lower the costs because we're reducing our wasteful activities, right? And we're also going to have improved quality because now we're using those statistical approaches that we use within Six Sigma. Okay. Whenever we're reducing waste, whenever we're providing visibility, whenever we're creating these value stream maps, we are improving our cycle times because we have more visibility. We are using effective inventory utilization because we are trusting the system to tell us when we need our inventory. We are not creating wasteful inventory. And we have an effective utilization of resources because now we're not overproducing. We're only producing what we need. Now, if we do that, if we have a focus on reduced waste, now we're able to utilize our warehouse space more effectively. We could even start leasing out warehouse space because we reduced our inventory levels. So now we can rent out space because we've eliminated inventory, right? And then also we have optimized transportation routes. So for example, going back to our example, when we get down to Florida, we can create a route to say, okay, what can we pick up so we reduce our number of empty miles going back to our plant, to our factory. We always want product on trucks. We never want an empty truck coming back to our distribution center, or our warehouse, or our facility. Okay. And then that way you can also, that also will lead to effective outsourcing. Outsourcing in terms of, I'm going to outsource my products or services to someone that has the infrastructure to do it, so I don't have to purchase that infrastructure. I think I mentioned that, if people want a powder coated Tesla, Tesla's not going to create a powder coating paint booth. They're going to outsource it. That would be wasteful to them. They're going to outsource it, right? So that's all that. I think that's it. Nope. Yeah. So that's all that I wanted to talk about tonight or today. Are there any questions on that? All right. So yeah, I'm gonna get to the questions in terms of the celebration of scholarship later on today. If you have any questions, just send me a text, and I'll get back to you. All right. Have a good week. And like I said, next week we're going to just simply do an overview, or do a recap of what we discussed this week. This during the semester, and then we'll like I said, I'll open up that exam. All right.
See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Have a good day.
Did
All right,
you
you as well.
send it, or am I good?
You sent the link, right?
I sent the link through Canvas. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I just want to make sure. All right.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
good.
Professor,
Yeah.
so if I do the celebration of scholarship, do I still need to take the exam?
Yeah, the celebration of scholarship was for another assignment. Send me a message. Send me a message through Canvas.
But I remember you say this gonna replace one of our.
I said send me a message through Canvas. Send me a message through Canvas.
Okay, I will send it right now. Thank you.
Wait, Professor.
Yes.
I heard you're teaching BA 421 in the fall semester, but it's not at Abington campus, right?
Hold a minute. I'm looking now.
Yeah. I think it's at a different campus. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think
Is it possible for an Abington student like me can take that online class while because they offer a BA 421 in this Abington campus, but the certain times they give, I won't be available on that time. But since I heard you're doing it online, I think, and I was wondering
I'm
if
checking now. Go to your I
Mine
just want to make sure that go to your registrar, because go to your registrar,
Okay.
then they'll go to mine, and then they'll ask me for approval, and I just approve it. I don't turn anybody down.
Gotcha, guys.
All right. You sure you want to take me again?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah, like I said, reach out to your registrar, and then we'll get it figured out.
Okay,
We'll get you in there. All right.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Let's see.